And welcome to Barca News. It is November 30th, 2025, and Xabi Alonso has responded to Joan Laporta. Also, Barcelona scouts were seen watching and scouting Antonio Nusa. And finally, Barcelona will miss out on 1 million euros, and I'm going to tell you how and why. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Boo, and we have breaking news. Well, not really breaking, but I guess it is breaking because it just happened. But Real Madrid just dropped points yet once again. The match just ended a few seconds ago. I was actually watching the final few minutes, and Real Madrid have drawn against Girona 1-1. Actually, Girona were winning 1-0 for most of the match. They missed their chance to make it 2-0. And then, of course, Real Madrid's MVP came to rescue them. Who's the MVP, you ask? Well, it's the penalty, because Madrid were awarded a penalty kick and Mbappe scored it, so it ended up being 1-1. By the way, I saw a statistic recently about how Mbappe has scored more penalties in one season at Real Madrid than he did during 5 seasons at PSG. I can't remember the exact numbers. I'm going to look that statistic up for you. Probably mention it during the podcast. But just think about that. Mbappe has scored more penalties in one season at Madrid than he did at 5 seasons at PSG. That just goes to show you something. So Real Madrid have dropped points. And with that, we are officially leaders, ladies and gentlemen. Leaders of the La Liga, because here's how the standings currently sit at. Barcelona in first place with 34 points, 14 matches played. 11 wins, 1 draw, and 2 victories, 39 goal difference. 39 goals at favor, 16 against with a 23 goal difference. Real Madrid in second place with 33 points, so 1 point behind Real Madrid. 14 matches played, 10 wins, 3 draws, 1 loss with 29 goals in favor, 13 against, 16 goal difference. In third place, Villarreal. Man, Marcelino is doing an amazing job with Villarreal. And then, of course, Atletico de Madrid in fourth place. We're playing Atletico Madrid next. That's going to be a very interesting match. The team's going to have to bring their A game if they hope to pull a victory. So back to the top of La Liga. Hopefully we stay at the top of the Liga. Only 1 point separates us between Real Madrid, but Real Madrid continue their decline. And speaking of Real Madrid, let's talk about Xabi Alonso, because he has responded to Joan Laporta's statements. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did videos about this. It all started with Florentino Perez at the General Assembly of Real Madrid, who decided to attack Barcelona, talking about how he didn't understand how Negreira was paid and blah, blah, blah. And he brought all these stupid stats and charts talking about how Barcelona were receiving less red cards during their best time, which is obviously indicative that Barcelona bribed referees. I mean, a total rant by a decrepit old man who's losing his mind. And then Joan Laporta, of course, replied to those statements by saying that, in a Negreira case, there's absolutely nothing. In fact, the allegation that Barcelona bribed referees was dismissed early on in the investigation. And now the investigation is continuing on to see whether there was some kind of stealing from the club, right? That Bartomeu, Rosé, those guys were stealing from the club using Negreira's company. So the bribery charges have pretty much been dropped a long time ago. And he said that the reason why Florentino Perez was bringing this up was just to distract from the fact that Barcelona were absolutely hegemonic during those years. And he said it was actually, in fact, Real Madrid who've been influencing the referees through Real Madrid TV, and of course the fact that they have always been the most favorite team as far as referees. In fact, you don't have to go that far. He mentioned the Elche example where they got 2 goals that should have not been allowed, and if it wasn't for that, Barcelona would have been leaders. Of course, we are leaders today, but nonetheless, it's a pretty given fact that Madrid always get favored by refs. Now, Xabi Alonso has replied to Joan Laporta's statements, and this is what the Real Madrid coach, who might be ex-Real Madrid coach pretty soon, but this is what he had to say. Populist messages pandering to their fans. We focus on the field, on winning in a sporting way. Every game is a test for it, and we have to show it. So he called Laporta's message a populist messages pandering to their fans. But isn't that what Florentino Perez was doing? Wasn't he also using a populist message to pander to his fans by distracting him with the whole Negreira case? I don't think Xabi Alonso thought too much when he gave that answer. But anyways, He says he focuses on the field and winning it. Xabi Alonso, I don't know what the hell you're focusing on because I haven't seen much wins lately. So I would recommend you stay in your lane and focus on your team rather than, replying to Joan Laporta because you're going to be having to update your resume pretty soon as it looks like it. Anyways, let's move on to the next bit of news because Barcelona have now decided to go after Marc Guehi, the 25-year-old center back who currently plays his trade at Crystal Palace. As you know, Marc Guehi, we've been talking about him for quite some time. His contract expires in the summer. He will become a free agent. He has decided not to renew with Crystal Palace. And as such, Barcelona had been tracking his situation, seeing what he does do, how he plays, etc. But so far, it was interest, right? Just, hey, let's see what this guy does. But now it has officially moved from interest into actual action, and now Barcelona are set to schedule meetings with Marc Guehi's agent because, yes, they will be going after him come next summer. Now, what's the problem? Of course, the problem is that half of Europe is also after him. Real Madrid, Liverpool, Bayern Munich, plenty of clubs interested in him. Given that he's going to be a free agent, it's going to be up to him to choose which club goes to, but just know that Barcelona will for sure go after Marc Guehi to, of course, replace Inigo Martinez, who has left to Saudi, and Christensen, who looks like will be leaving as well as a free agent come this summer. So my question to you is, what do you think about Marc Guehi as an option for Barcelona? Let me know down below in the comment section. Now, speaking of the summer transfer market, it's been revealed that Barcelona scouts were watching Antonio Nusa. I know a lot of you guys like him. I like him too. But João Amaral was seen watching Antonio Nusa. Now, as you know, and as I've told you in the previous videos, this is the time where clubs start to make moves in preparation for the summer transfer market. Flick has told Deco that he wants to reinforce 3 positions, the center back, the center forward, and the left wing. And as such, the club has already started making moves. Now, João Amaral, who just got hired this past summer to be Deco's right-hand man, was in Milan for a meeting of agents, intermediaries, and sporting directors from all across Europe. They were all in Milan. And while João Amaral was in Milan, he decided to swing by the match between Italy and Norway, where Norway defeated Italy 1-4. One of those 4 goals was by Antonio Nusa. And João Amaral went there not just because he felt like, oh, I'm going to go watch a match, buy some hot dogs, maybe some popcorn. No, he was strictly there to watch Antonio Nusa play. And this, of course, is big because, of course, this is João Amaral. We're not talking about any random scout from Barca. We're talking about the right-hand man of Deco going in person to watch Antonio Nusa. Now, Nusa does have a contract until 2029 with Leipzig. So expect a hefty price placed on him. But nonetheless, just know that Barcelona seem to be interested in Nusa. And, of course, why wouldn't they be? He's an absolutely amazing winger. Speed, dribble, you name it. Cross, goal, he has it all. Anyways, let's end today's video with the news that Barcelona will miss out on 1 million euros. And that comes from Vitor Roque. Now, Vitor Roque just played the Libertadores final. If you don't know what the Libertadores is, it's the equivalent of the Champions League, but in South America. And Vitor Roque's team, Palmeiras, made it to the final against Flamengo, where actually Vitor Roque started in that match. But in the 67th minute, Flamengo's Danilo scored a goal, and Palmeiras were not able to come back from that 0-1. So they ended up losing the Libertadores Cup, with Flamengo, of course, becoming the South American champions. And as a result, Barcelona will miss out on 1 million euros. Now, if you're wondering why is Barcelona not going to make that 1 million? Well, when Barcelona transferred Vitor Roque to Palmeiras, they transferred him for 25.5 million euros, with Barcelona retaining 20% of the rights of Vitor Roque. And in that contract, there were 5 million euros in variables. Now, variables are only paid if a certain something happens, and 2 million were if Vitor Roque ended up amongst the 3 best players of the Club World Cup. 2 million Barcelona would have received if Vitor Roque ends up on a podium at the Ballon d'Or. And then 1 million euro bonus Barcelona would receive if Vitor Roque won an international tournament with Palmeiras. Of course, Libertadores is an international tournament. So had Palmeiras won, Barcelona would have received 1 million euros from Palmeiras, which they will not do. Now, in this Libertadores, Vitor Roque had 11 starts, scoring 4 goals and 2 assists. Not bad for Tigrinho. Anyways, that is all the news for this live. I did go live a few moments ago. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. I'm going live again after this one, so stay tuned to the channel. As you can see, I'm back home. I'm back in my YouTube studio. So good to be home. And tomorrow, of course, we have the podcast. So don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Bis Barça.